In today's video, we will listen to an everyday conversation between two hosts, Ben and Chloe, about minimalism and essentialism.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you've spent any time online or just tried tidying up lately, you've definitely bumped into the word minimalism.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere. But let's be real, a lot of the time it just means, that clean Instagram look. White walls, maybe one expensive plant.
That's the aesthetic side for sure, but we're here because the sources we've looked at show it's much deeper than just how your house looks, right? It's a whole philosophy.
Exactly. And what's helpful, I think, is that our sources let us tease apart three ideas people often mix up.
Okay, what are they?
So there's minimalism itself. That's the lifestyle focused on having fewer possessions, less consumption.
Got it. Physical stuff.
Then there's digital minimalism. That's all about being really intentional with your technology use.
Which feels increasingly necessary, doesn't it?
And finally, essentialism. That's more internal, a disciplined focus on only the most vital things in your life, your commitments, interests.
So our mission today is really to unpack that core idea of the philosophy and explore the kind of surprising impacts it has, not just on your space, but well-being, money, even society.
And the definition we're working with from the minimalists sums it up nicely, which is they call it a tool to rid yourself of life's excess in favor of focusing on what's important so you can find happiness, fulfillment, and freedom.
Focusing on what's important. That's key, isn't it?
It really is. Because often the first big aha moment people have is realizing clutter isn't just physical.
Oh, I know this one. I went through a massive physical decluttering phase. Got rid of maybe like 75% of my stuff. Felt amazing.
So much. That initial relief is powerful.
But then maybe 2 weeks later it hit me. My phone habits? Exactly the same. My digital life was still completely cluttered.
That's the new clutter the sources talk about.
Exactly. Digital clutter.
The research, well, it's pretty eye-opening. Your house can be spotless, but if your phone is running your life, you're not really free.
And we are hooked. Some of these stats are wild.
They are. Americans check their phones, get this, 144 times a day on average.
144 times?
Yeah, it adds up to about 4.5 hours daily on these devices.
4.5 hours.
And over 2 hours of that is just social media alone.
And people know it's a problem, too.
The stat was nearly 57% of Americans call themselves mobile phone addicts.
We're aware, but it's hard to break free.
And that's because we need to understand the psychology baked into the software.
Sneaky, tricksy.
Kinda, yeah. Sources really highlight something called the variable reinforcement schedule.
Okay, what's that? Sounds clinical.
It's basically how a slot machine works. Think about apps with like buttons or notifications. Your brain actually gets a bigger dopamine hit when the reward, like the notification, is unexpected compared to when it's predictable.
So the randomness keeps you coming back.
Exactly. Keeps you scrolling, checking, wondering what's next. It's designed to be addictive.
Man. Okay, so that's the digital side, hooking our brains. But the physical clutter we started with, that still matters for mental state, doesn't it? Even if we're kind of used to it.
Oh, definitely. Studies clearly show a link between cluttered spaces and higher levels of cortisol. That's your stress hormone.
So messy room, stressed brain.
Pretty much. And minimalism helps fight something called choice fatigue.
Choice fatigue?
Yeah, it's that mental drain you get from making tons of tiny decisions all day. What to wear from a packed closet, where to find something on a messy desk.
Simplifying reduces those decisions so you save your brain power for what actually matters.
Exactly. You conserve cognitive energy. You get more mental space.
Okay, so we've got physical clutter stressing us out, digital clutter addicting us, both stealing time and focus. How do we actually, fight back? Let's maybe shift to the practical side.
Section 2. Digital minimalism. Cal Newport's work seems key here.
Newport's definition is really the anchor. He calls digital minimalism a philosophy of technology use in which you focus your online time on a small number of carefully selected and optimized activities that strongly support things you value.
Okay, focus on value, and then happily miss out on everything else.
Happily miss out. I love that phrase. It's like the opposite of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Exactly. It's JOMO, the joy of missing out.
So what are some things someone listening could do, like today? Actionable steps.
Well, a big one is requesting your mornings. Keep them quiet.
How so?
Don't grab your phone first thing. The moment you do, you're letting its priorities, notifications, emails, feeds, dictate your start to the day, not your own values.
So maybe leave it on airplane mode overnight and keep it that way for a bit in the morning?
That's a great strategy. Keep it quiet until you choose to engage.
Okay, but here's where it gets tricky, making yourself less available. It feels like career suicide sometimes in this always-on culture.
That's the pushback, yeah.
How can you consolidate texts and emails without, falling off the map?
Right. It requires setting boundaries using intentional friction. You have to accept that you are not obligated to respond instantly to everything.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but the tactics help. Keep your phone on Do Not Disturb by default.
Yeah, treat texts like emails. Check them when you decide to open the app, not every time it buzzes. And for email, maybe take the app off your phone or just check it at set times.
Both work. Adjusting notification settings, only refreshing manually.
The interesting thing is the sources suggest this makes your communication more deliberate, more focused, which can actually strengthen relationships.
Because when you do respond, you're actually present.
Exactly. Intentional, not reactive.
Makes sense. So we reclaim maybe hours a day from the digital slot machine. What do we fill that time with? Just stare at the wall?
No. You fill it with what the sources call high-quality leisure.
Okay, like what?
The things that are actively engaging or restorative. Learning a skill, playing an instrument, volunteering, deep reading, even just taking walks in nature.
Silence is key, too.
Why silence? Well, the research suggests that compulsive phone use messes with the balance between the brain's liking system and its wanting system.
Spending time offline, in silence, engaging deeply in something else, helps rebalance those pathways. It naturally reduces the urge to check the phone.
Interesting. So you're retraining your brain.
Essentially.
In a way, yes. Building focus and satisfaction offline.
This actually leads perfectly into our next section, section 3, because choosing this kind of intentional life, it isn't just personal. It's not just about less stress or more free time. It has these huge ripple effects, right? Societally, financially.
Absolutely. Let's unpack that. Why are younger generations like millennials often drawn to this? What are the bigger forces at play?
Yeah, what did the research find?
Well, one key study identified a few main drivers, or antecedents. First up is environmental concern.
Okay, that makes sense. Less stuff, less waste.
Right. And it's significant because consumer behavior drives something like up to 60% of global greenhouse gas emissions.
So choosing less consumption has a direct environmental benefit, preserving resources, cutting waste, lowering emissions.
So caring about the planet pushes people towards minimalism. What else?
Interestingly, the strongest positive influence wasn't the environment, but resource sharing.
Resource sharing like the sharing economy?
Exactly. Think
ride sharing, tool libraries, renting instead of buying things you only need occasionally.
It boosts efficiency like crazy and cuts down on the demand for making new stuff.
Less need for everyone to own one of everything.
Precisely. It optimizes use, saves materials.
And there was a third driver, something about aesthetics?
Yeah, modern aesthetics. Minimalism just fits with modern design ideas, doesn't it? Sleek, functional.
Minimal branding, optimizing space. Think Apple.
Or even high-end brands. Form follows function, and that aesthetic preference inherently uses fewer resources. Less decoration, less packaging. It aligns nicely.
Okay, so environmentalism, sharing, aesthetics, but the financial argument, that might be the most persuasive for many people. It's the direct antidote to lifestyle creep, right?
Oh, absolutely. That thing where, you get a raise and somehow your spending magically expands to eat it all up, leaving you no better off?
Happens all the time. Minimalism, or at least intentional spending, flips that script.
Yeah, and the math on this from the sources is pretty spelling.
Let's hear it. There was a specific example about shifting spending, right?
They looked at taking $1,500 a month that might otherwise go towards compulsive consumption.
One source bluntly called it bullshit spending.
Okay. And instead investing that $1,500.
What happened?
Well, say you figure you need about $3,000 a month to live comfortably in retirement. If you invest that extra $1,500 monthly, assuming a reasonable 7% return, you could hit the $900,000 you'd need for that income in just 22 years.
22 years. Wow.
But if you don't make that shift, if you keep spending that extra $1,500, now your expenses are $4,500 a month, so you need more saved up.
Way more.
You need about $1.2 million. And if you're only managing to save, say, $500 a month because of the higher spending, it would take you 40 years to reach that goal.
40 years versus 22. That's an 18-year difference in your working life.
18 years. That's the power of reclaiming that money, that time.
And this is where we connect to the financial independence, or FI, right? The FIRE movement.
This philosophy makes achieving FI possible, and importantly, joyfully. It's not about feeling deprived, it's an identity shift.
Exactly. The sources stress this. You decide, I'm not the kind of person who needs to buy stuff to impress others, or I don't consume mindlessly. That shift makes saving feel good, intentional.
That idea of identity, joy, intentionality, that seems like a perfect bridge to Section 4. We need to draw that line clearly. Minimalism versus essentialism. They sound similar, but they focus differently.
They really are. And it's important, before we define them, to acknowledge some critiques.
Okay, like what?
Well, indirectly, some early architectural minimalism had sort of baggage, critiques around being exclusionary, even implicitly racist in some contexts.
And today, minimalism itself is sometimes criticized as a lifestyle of privilege, because choosing to have less is different from having to live with less due to necessity.
Precisely. Framing it purely as a choice ignores that economic reality for many.
So that context is crucial.
Definitely good to keep in mind. So with that nuance, how do we define the core difference between minimalism and essentialism?
Okay, so minimalism is primarily external. It's about your physical stuff, your living space, getting rid of the excess things.
Right. It fundamentally condemns consumerism. The goal is to figure out what's enough materially.
And essentialism? Where does that focus?
Essentialism is primarily internal. It's about your mind space, your commitments, your time, your energy.
So not your stuff, but your schedule, your focus.
Exactly. It condemns busyness for the sake of busyness. The goal here is identifying the vital few, the truly essential tasks, projects, ideas, and letting go of the rest.
So a minimalist cleans out their closet, an essentialist cleans out their calendar and their to-do list.
That's a great way to put it. Essentialism, sometimes called the disciplined pursuit of less, is about making deliberate trade-offs, designing your life, your routines. So doing the important things becomes almost effortless.
Which frees up mental energy.
Precisely. It creates the clarity to constantly ask, what's important now?
Or win, as some call it. What's important now?
I like that. When? It's a powerful focusing question. Wow. Okay, this has been quite the journey. We've gone from, tidying up physical stuff to tackling digital distractions, understanding the huge financial benefits, and now landing on this deeper internal philosophy of essentialism.
It all seems to point in one direction, doesn't it? Towards more autonomy, more control over your own life.
And maybe making a better contribution by being more mindful.
I think that's right. The sources consistently point to the end result. Improved well-being, definitely higher life satisfaction, a deeper sense of fulfillment.
And it comes not from getting more, but from gaining back time and freedom.
Time and liberty to focus on what truly matters to you. Family, interests, deeper work, whatever it might be.
Instead of just accumulating possessions or being constantly distracted.
So the big question for you listening is, what does this all mean for you?
Well, the power in both minimalism and essentialism really comes from that focus on intentionality. It's applying that famous idea, less is more.
Whether you trace it to Robert Browning the poet or Mies van der Rohe the architect.
Applying it beyond just your living room.
Exactly. Applying it to your mind, your schedule, your commitments.
So here's a final thought to mull over. What one thing, maybe a long-held commitment that no longer serves you or some unnecessary task you do out of habit, could you eliminate today?
To potentially reclaim years of your life down the road. That's the potential power.
Yeah. What could you let go of starting now?
Great work today. Keep going. Every lesson helps you improve your English. I'm excited to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun lessons. Keep learning and see you again soon.